Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana. You found us on whatever podcast app you're using. And of course,
YouTube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
hello. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. Maybe you're in the YouTube chat right now. Hello, welcome.
Yeah, throw the frogs up, guys. Throw
Frogs
the frogs
up.
up.
Leap, my frog.
There we go.
Yeah, it's Sunday. It's a miserable, rainy day in
Gloomy.
Toronto,
Yeah.
which means the Leafs might have a chance.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Although they're away, right?
Yeah, so that's like just good luck that it's so shitty here that maybe gives them good juju. I don't know how it works.
We'll see. You don't want to win the first two games anyway. That's no fun.
Wait, no, they're down to.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't want to win the first two games.
Then the good story is always like the
You got to make a comeback, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Underdog. Everyone loves that.
Well, they're resting on their laurels over there in Florida.
Yeah, it's probably really nice there right now.
Yeah. Or
maybe
Puerto Rico. That would have been nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Been a
exactly.
fun show to have gone to.
Yeah, next time.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I've been looking at that AAA Tijuana show, but I just don't. I don't know. Things. El Chapo's son's going a little wild down in Mexico.
A little
lately,
bit, yeah.
So I don't know about that. It's Vikingo versus Kenny though. It could be pretty nuts.
Nice.
One day. That's a bucket list thing. Seeing a show like in South America
absolutely.
somewhere like that'd be really sweet. Yes, welcome to Poisonrana. If you're listening to us, thank you very much. Hit that subscribe, follow us on all the socials and all that stuff. We're gonna talk about some Backlash here today. We are recording this the Sunday after, so we checked out Backlash. We're going to talk about that and Dynamite and all the other stuff going on in the world of wrestling. And we got to throw the plug out right at the top here. If you listened to Rewind to Dynamite over on the Post Wrestling feed, well, you may have heard that we have a big announcement, and that announcement is we're doing a Forbidden Pour in Toronto, Real Sports, right beside the Scotiabank Arena, before and after Forbidden Door, June 25th.
Yes, tickets are on sale and they're selling really well already.
$7.7 million gate.
Huge gate right off the bat. Tickets are moving pretty fast for this. We do only have a limited amount of space. We're doing a pre-show. John and Way are going to do one of their live Q&As. We're going to throw in some of our games, have some drinks, some food before the big show, and then come join us after. The after party. We've got wrestling karaoke going on, more wrestling themed cocktails. You get to hang out with us. Look, this event is sold out. Like, Forbidden Door is sold out. If you want to go to a bar after the event, it's going to be busy. We've got you a guaranteed, like, walk right in, get right to the bar, hang out. You'll be there minutes from your seat to getting, a cocktail, a mocktail, whatever you feel like, some food. If you've been hungry, they've got pretty nice food there at Real Sports. $30 for the entire day. If you want to come just after and hang out, $8.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you get out of that? There's going to be like games, like we said, some trivia, some prizes, just a fun time. We like to throw these things in. It's honestly just about us having a good time and making people have a good time, and the whole wrestling fans and community. That's why we do this, and that's why we jumped on doing something like this. So yeah, the before show, you get to hang out. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to have a fun time, record some stuff. And then afterwards, it's karaoke and it's a party until we can't party no more on a Sunday.
Until we're kicked out.
Yeah, where else are you going to go on a Sunday,
Yeah.
on like come hang out, and wrestling karaoke's been pretty fun. So we're super excited.
The location is just perfect as well. It's literally attached to the arena. So no excuses. But there's going to be a whole lot of the post wrestling and Poisonrana community there as well. You get to meet other people who do shows across all the brands. And John and Way, for once, they're not going to record a show right after. They're going to hang on as well to have some fun.
Yeah, remember we had a secret meeting
Yep.
at Real Sports, and we were like, guys, you could record the show, you could go home and miss the party, or you could stay out. And they said, you know what? Let's tonight's the night to do it. So I'm really excited about that. So we'll try to convince them to sing, but don't get your hopes up. But
So tickets are available postwrestling.com/live. You can pick them up right now. Get them before they run out.
yeah, honestly, anyone listening, thank you who's bought a ticket so far, because I think we blew expectations kind of out the water the first few days there. So already, thanks to people who jumped on that, and can't wait to meet listeners. And again, if you're thinking about it, not too late. There's still like a month or two till the show. So get your tickets for Forbidden Door and the Forbidden Pour.
Absolutely.
And some more announcements coming in the future for certain things involving the show. We might have some cocktail lists coming out and some special things, maybe some sponsorships. We'll be filling you guys in as we get closer and closer to the event, but we're super stoked for that. And I know you're cooking something up for our Brits over there in London town. So
oh yeah, this is like we had our WrestleMania event recently. We're just planning all these things all over the world now.
Yeah, hey, while we're
going global.
While we're on the subject, Dynamite is in Hamilton the Wednesday after Forbidden Door. If there's any Hamilton people out there that can lead us to where we could maybe throw a little bit of a pre-party that Wednesday as well. And SummerSlam, we're going to be in the big D, slanging D, hopefully eating some deep dish pizza, and we're going to SummerSlam.
We got to this time. We have to.
I'll
be so mad.
Yeah, I feel like we owe it to you too.
Over like as I get older, I get less mad about things. There are things that tick me off, but I get less mad about things. Food is something, like if I have my like heart set on something and I don't get that, that's when I get pissy.
No, I feel for you.
So we're gonna have like midday Detroit
to make sure
when it's safe,
when it's not dangerous,
it's daylight, and everything's open.
And then we're gonna go to that glow in the dark bar, because the glow in the dark bar, if you think back, Davey, was ahead of its time, because the whole place was covered in like glow in the dark like newspaper ads from like all over the world or something. Remember one that we were like, that's odd. Why is there a glow in the dark picture of Charles?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Look at him now.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see any of it, to be honest.
You didn't watch the coronation? No, I can't say I did either, but it was also like 5 a.m. But
yeah.
There's only one true king after this weekend, and it's Bad Bunny. After watching Backlash. But we're cooking something up. We will be in SummerSlam for Detroit. So again, we're trying to think of maybe hitting because I remember we were in Detroit last time. We ran into a few listeners, a bunch of listeners. So I bet there's some people going for SummerSlam as well. So
I'm sure we'll be seeing people there. It's pretty well sold show. This is just like a whole year of stadium shows everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Wrestling's pretty crazy.
Wrestling is back. You know what I'm worried about for Detroit though is we have mentioned on the show we got our 2 nights free, thanks to Hilton Garden Inn. I'm so worried about us being halfway on that car journey and then being like, fuck, they're in the draw. Because otherwise we're paying like 12 grand. So we have to remember these certificates.
The free stay thing.
Yeah, that would put a real dampener on things, wouldn't it?
Yeah, true. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. As we go, we're hardcore. We party. We vacation in Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
which we're not this week. We should. No, it's like I kind of wish. I know they announced it like now 2 weeks in advance, but like we were kind of like, we're already going for SummerSlam. AEW's not that hot right now, but then they announced this cage match this week. I'm kind of like, but 4-hour drive worth it one way. It's like another 4 back. It's like
it's more the coming back, isn't it?
Yeah.
We do have Wednesdays off, so it would be easy enough to go. But it's like there aren't any buses or trains that like come back after the show, so like that's when it gets a bit tricky.
It's okay,
but we got a whole lot going on at Poisonrana, don't we?
We do. Obviously we do this show every week. We'll be back again next week, or is next week Mother's Day? I might not be back.
We'll figure something out.
We have lots of free shows on this feed as well. If you've been following, hit that subscribe, because we have What Up Doe with Sino and B Detroit, which is just awesome. They chat about a lot of other pop culture stuff, music, movies, video games. But then obviously Detox free on this feed as well. I'll be sure to have a new one coming out this month with Jordan. But then, of course, Shot in the Dark. We got to somewhat, maybe, possibly pour one out for Dark. But Sino has insisted that the show will go on. He will cover.
It doesn't need to
else.
change its name. Like it's
a Shot of
it's
Honor.
Like the Blackpool Combat Club. Like you might have lost Dark, the thing that made it Blackpool or the show, but like it's still its spirit lives on. Yeah, right.
And most the cool kids call it Shot anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's Shot with John Cena Evil. So that show will go nowhere. We love Cena, and he's been killing it everywhere on our feed and Post Wrestling.
Absolutely. And he helped hold down the fort this Tuesday while I was away for the review of NXT, pouring many out for the 18 NXT superstars. Can't believe I'm not going to see Zion Quinn on a Tuesday anymore. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Thank God.
Yeah. And I've been putting out our weekly Succession review, The Sesh. I was joined by Rich Fan this week, chatting all about episode 6 of the show. We're gearing up to that series finale now, which I believe Rich said is going to be like a feature-length episode.
Like an hour and a half.
Pretty much, which is pretty awesome. And I'll be joined by Benno this week from Grapple and former BWE to talk all about episode 7 coming out.
Amazing. So those two sesh on the Patreon. Benno one is coming out this week. You're going to chat with him. Also on the Patreon this week, we are going to be joined. This is part 2 of our best match ever, Great Muta. But this time we look at Keiji Muto.
Yes.
So WH has once again concocted a list of the best matches of Muto's
and
career.
I think these are going to be like the better matches.
Right, okay.
Because
Well,
this is him in like wrestling zone.
I don't know. For anyone who listened to that show that we did with WH, we were pretty into those matches. Some of those ones were great. The Liger, the evil Liger one?
Yeah.
That one was crazy. We figured out the Muta scale, where that came from. So now we're looking at Muto, and WH is going to come over this week, and we're going to record this. So can't wait for that one to come out. So that'll be out this week. What else did we do?
Well,
we did our New Year's Revolution.
Absolutely,
from
yeah.
Puerto Rico.
From 18 years ago, the last show in Puerto Rico, and what a difference between these two shows. This was a really fun review to do. I'd never seen this show before, and it was kind of a cursed show, really, and kind of maybe explains why they haven't been back for 18 years. But the difference between, and we are going to get into last night's Backlash, the difference between like this year, where there was just so much fan service to that market,
right,
and the last one where they're going, sorry, I don't understand you, speak English, and calling them second-class citizens and all that. What a difference between like 2005 and 2023.
Yeah, so go look check out our review of that show, which is great parallels to, if you want to hear us talk about Maven, talk about knee injuries, multiple knee injuries, Muhammad Hassan, Jerry Lawler.
Oh, boy.
Great show.
Great show.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That's out on our Patreon as well. And then our Mandalorian review from season 3. I'm going to put this up this week on this very free feed. I should have put it up on May the 4th, but I slipped up and didn't have my computer. I was like, oh, today's Star Wars Day. That would have been a good day to do that. So I apologize. But you're getting it for free. So any Mando fans, be looking for that on this very free feed on the podcast app. So lots of stuff. But go support us if you like it, because patreon.com/Poisonrana. It's $5, guys. It goes a long way. It's you sign up, you get a whole month's worth, and you get to promoting a movie all night called Fubar. Real ones know.
New Netflix show, yeah.
Yeah, real ones know. I mean, there is another movie called Fubar, but real ones know Tango and Cash is where Fubar came from.
Absolutely.
And we just did a review of that a few months back. So lots of stuff over on our Patreon, and we can't thank our listeners for supporting us enough, because we love you guys.
We really do. Well, I think it's time. Let's get into Backlash from last night, live from Puerto Rico. I caught SmackDown this week as well, and just why has it taken them so long to do these shows in different markets? We saw it with Clash at the Castle last year. We saw it in like Montreal for Elimination Chamber. Now we're seeing it in Puerto Rico. It makes this product feel so much more special. And I thought just the opening shots of the drone like flying through the crowd and all that was awesome. The different setup of the stage and everything, just it made it feel so special. And I was pretty pumped for this show, actually.
Yeah, I was too. I was really excited. I know I had Saturday night off, and I was like, well, I really want to watch this show, so made plans to check it out. I was super excited because the card itself was stacked, but the whole Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico, like it has my interest. Like it's rare that the celebrity involvement does have my attention full on, and this one for sure. And boy, he knocked it out the park.
He really did.
Well, they did. I would say WWE
absolutely.
did.
We open with Bianca Belair defending her Raw Women's Championship against Io Sky these two never really tangled that much in NXT. They had that 4-way from what I remember, but I can't really remember any singles match. And I thought this was an awesome opener. Io kind of working on Bianca's arm throughout the whole thing to weaken her. She had that incredible one arm military press slam. Bailey somewhat kind of costing EO the match. So I think hopefully like splitting those two off into I think they've got a tag team title match next week. So I hope that's the split and we can get a bit of a Bayley EO feud. But I really like this match. Bianca Belair continuing to just kill it with pretty much every opponent she has on the big stage.
Yeah, Bianca is like John Cena of WWE lately, like having just crazy big matches that always deliver. Like I know sometimes the storylines in the past year have been, iffy. Yeah, but when it comes to big matches, like big match Bianca for sure. And, Io being my like favorite, full stop favorite wrestler. I think she's just the best, man or woman, doesn't matter. And I think this was the first time we got like the real Io on a main event slot, having a huge match like this. This was my match of the night last night. Maybe Bad Bunny, because honestly that one was amazing. But
I'd probably go with this too.
I know, again, anyone who knows, been listening to us, like Io Shirai gets me high, but now Io Sky gets me high, and I finally got that, like the wrestling hit. It was a great opponent. You got a lot of time. She looked great, and I didn't know Io was Puerto Rican because the crowd that's hometown hero.
That's what like amazed me as well, because they were huge for Io, and maybe like NXT was just like the biggest show in Puerto Rico.
I don't know,
but this was definitely Triple H finally getting to present Io Shirai NXT version how he's wanted, it felt like. And this crowd just like beginning to end on this show were just awesome. And again, just do this more often, go to different markets, because like I watch this, it kind of doesn't matter on the quality of the wrestling, because it just feels like something so hot that you're missing out on if you're not there, compared to, a Raw in Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Like
keep going to Corpus Christi.
I don't know. So I love this match. I wasn't surprised Bianca won, but I'm pleased that it does seem like Io's got some momentum in this loss, and definitely if it's leading to a feud with Bayley, who I think Bayley really needs something as well. This damage control thing hasn't really clicked as much as it should have. And I think if you can have a hot babyface Io going up against Bayley, I think that's an awesome program for SummerSlam.
Ooh, right. That could be a huge SummerSlam match. I honestly like the fact that, was it Bianca, or some people were saying like Io, you're not doing anything since you came. You're just Bayley's like lackey.
Yeah.
And then she finally gets a match.
Becky.
Yeah.
Right,
and then she finally gets a big pay-per-view match, and it's kind of Bayley that, like, Bayley was trying to help her, but like it was kind of the distraction that helped Io lose there. So it's like you could tease that, but also like maybe it does work. Maybe you just shift the focus to Io being the like singles star of the group, and then goes forward, because she will eventually become champion. And when she does, like, more people are gonna like catch on to how awesome she is. And I'm just so happy that it finally hit. She's had some okay match. Like, I know she's the best because we've done our best match ever, Io Shirai, with Karen Peterson a few months back. She's just amazing, and this one hit for me. This has to be like match of the year contender for me. I the N2, as much as I'm an Io mark, when I thought for a second, wait a second, is this gonna go the other way? I started getting, so they got me. Like, that's what I like about that too. So I was just really into this.
I think the real thing is, after this show, try to ride the momentum of some of these people. Because, as I said, I watched SmackDown, and Nakamura felt special again for the first time in forever. Like, we always joke about, he just wants to go around and surf. But like this crowd, him doing his entrance in, like, they're using those 8K cams, they had that awesome entranceway. I was like, wow, this feels like, Nakamura back in NXT. Like, I feel hyped to see him again. And I think you had that with Io here. You have that with Zelina later on. There's so many characters where it's like, really try and ride this wave. Don't take your foot off the gas from now just because you've left Puerto Rico. You're going to be going to London in just a month or so, where you're going to have a hot crowd there. And then it's SummerSlam, where you have a lot of traveling people. You've really got the chance to, make some stars. And Io Shirai is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We need a big show in Japan now.
Yeah.
See if the crowd can give her the same hometown reception as Puerto Rico.
That would be, Io main event in Japan would be pretty cool.
Triple H, Hunter, book the dome.
Book it.
Book the Tokyo Dome.
We then go from the sublime to the ridiculous with Omos versus Seth Rollins. And you know what? I kind of had fun with this one as well.
Yeah, me too. I think they worked the best thing that they could out of this, and having just, you know, the classic David versus Goliath of Seth, the one stomp attempt where it's like, no, his neck is too big. Yeah, it's a big MFer right there. And then finally, hitting like 3 and then one off the top rope to finally pin him. It's like, okay, that was pretty cool. And it kind of pushes Seth back into what I would imagine being in contention for that world title that they have, the runner-up title.
I think if you want to establish this title, Seth is the guy to put it on.
Yeah.
He can put on a good match with anyone, and I think if it were a Cody or like someone who hasn't won the title, or Cody or Sami Zayn, someone like that winning this title, it definitely feels like a bronze medal.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Seth, he's already been Universal Champion. He's already been WWE Champion. It just adds a bit more credibility to it, and then it can be your workhorse World Heavyweight Championship. I think that's completely the right move, and him beating Omos, because some people were thinking, oh, if Omos wins this, maybe they're going Omos Roman in Saudi.
Right.
But I do think Omos has improved somewhat, or at least they're booking him in a way where it is hiding his weaknesses a bit, and like he's huge. Like this guy is massive, so I do kind of get the spectacle of it. I don't necessarily be like, oh, can't wait to watch another Omos match.
Right.
But I thought they did a good job with what they had, and this is definitely one of the better Omos matches.
Oh, it's his best match.
Yeah,
probably.
And he's starting to bump as well, which we haven't really seen him do a great
MVP
deal.
in those interviews being like, look, man, you better learn how to wrestle.
Yeah.
or else you won't have a career.
Absolutely.
So maybe he's listening to him.
No, but I thought that was a pretty fun second match, and especially, that stomp off the top rope was pretty cool. And then we go to a bit more of Big Lads Wrestling with the US title match, triple threat, Austin Theory defending against Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, a pretty standard match. I'd probably say this was my least favorite match on the show. Still not saying it was anything terrible, but it kind of felt like a Raw match to me. But again, the crowd were really into it. What was funny was we're talking about how this crowd was just hot all night. You could tell there was parts where they're like, hold on, we gotta breathe here. Okay, we're back into this match.
Yeah.
When Austin Theory's music hit, crickets. Just saying. Everyone got a pop.
Yeah.
Except Austin Theory.
Yeah, like I'm not surprised he won. I thought the match was pretty fun. They had some good big spots here. Like I think Bronson Reed, they've actually done a pretty good job with so far. He needs to get that big win now, but
yeah, he's better than Theory.
He's been having I think good spots. You know, he had a good spot in the Elimination Chamber. Like here, that big moonsault and stuff. Like this guy's pretty impressive, and I would like to see him maybe get this title down the line. I think he's staying on Raw though, isn't he? And Theory and Lashley are moving to SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Austin Theory, I'm not as low on him as other people are. I get it. It's not, he isn't there yet, but I also understand why they are putting stuff behind him. He's still so young. He does have the look. He can wrestle. He's just he's a little too WWE and not connected enough with people yet. But I am interested to see his career. Like, I do think he'll be a major player in like 5 years time or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think this was bad. It was good, like concise. I think they went 10, something like that.
Probably under that.
Yeah. But it was all right. But definitely like the least hyped match on the show as well.
Yeah.
And then we had Rhea Ripley going against Zelina Vega. Zelina kind of hometown girl kind of here.
Yeah.
Huge Puerto Rican entrance with her
Flag,
gear
outfit.
and her flag.
Wow, she looked incredible.
She looked awesome. The crowd going absolutely crazy for her. I don't know what they were chanting, but she like visibly looked very emotional.
Yeah, she was holding back tears. Her family was in the front row. Michael Cole in commentary saying that she dedicates this to her father who, died in 9/11.
Yeah.
Her mom and stepfather who supported her are here in the front row. Like, she's just super emotional. And I think in some circumstances in wrestling, like, you're not the winner of the match, but you you won.
Yeah.
You won. Don't worry. You got it.
And in hindsight, I know a lot of people were at WrestleMania going, why are they having Rhea as the heel against Charlotte?
Right.
But if they knew they were having this big, like, Puerto Rico show coming up,
Sure.
and you're having Zelina go, I think it made sense. And Rhea, who normally gets cheered, was getting booed heavily here.
Yeah,
So it just made a incredible atmosphere.
She did look amazing too with the gear she had. She
Yeah.
looked like proper, like the champ, like the big boss, the big mommy Rhea Ripley. She has come such a long way. I really like. We watched a lot of her in NXT, and she was good. Don't get me wrong. We were praising her, but I think now she has stepped up to that next level, and I do see her as like a huge player in WWE.
Oh,
Again,
100%.
going in the next little while. I thought
One of the
like,
top
she
stars.
looks like that. Yeah.
And I thought Zelina looked pretty good here as well.
Oh, yeah.
She's a bit hit and miss with her wrestling, but when it connects, I think she does some pretty cool stuff. And especially with this crowd behind her, I thought it was one of her better matches. And like, it's just great to see. Like, I get emotional seeing like these kind of reactions. And we've been following Zelina for so long, from, you know, just being a manager in NXT with Andrade to, you know, being released over the whole stuff with Twitch. And now she's like in a championship match in Puerto Rico in this stadium. Like, it's huge. Like, and it's great to see people kind of like achieve that moment, you know?
Yeah.
Even though she didn't win.
She didn't win, but I'm like, wow. And then they gave her the moment after. So like,
Yeah.
she had it.
And now she's like, and part of this LWO thing, which is one of the hottest things going in WWE right now.
She's set.
Like, they've done really well.
After something like this, I could see her as champ one day.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. And then we continue with the LWO theme with, for some people, the main event of the show. Were you surprised this didn't go on last?
No, but at the same time, I would be like, okay, cool. But like Cody Brock is the big dream match kind of scenario in any city, in any country. Whereas this is specifically for this. I would have went either way, but definitely you could have went with this. Like, no debate. And after the match, I preferred this one over the main event. Not saying that we'll get to thoughts on that, but like, yeah, these guys proved that they could have been the main event here tonight, because I would say this was the highlight of the show for sure.
Yeah, I thought it would go on last, but then sometimes I think when it's, you know, a celebrity thing or whatever, where there is the chance this isn't a professional wrestler going out here, there is the chance that things could go really badly.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, and I think often it protects them by putting it in the middle of the show, where if it is a bit of a
I don't know, injury, if something goes wrong,
or just like a shit match,
right.
It's kind of forgotten about by the end. But then when you saw the booking with, it really reminded me of Sting versus Triple H, you know, with just all the random entrances.
I got that vibe for sure.
Which I like that match. It's ridiculous. It's all smoke and mirrors, but it works so well. Bunny hitting, you know, Michinoku drivers and
this was such a trip. First of all, like they've been using that Booker T song that he had, right? He performed it like a year or so ago, and they've clearly like paid up rights for this, so they used it again. Earlier in the day, I follow Bad Bunny on Twitter, and he tweeted out, "Hey, at WWE, just want to let you know I'm changing my theme song to a different song. Sorry." And I was like, that's funny. He's like, they wanted me to use Booker T, but I'm using something else. So he came out to this song called Shambea, which was way back. He had a music video with Ric Flair in it.
Okay.
Way before Ric Flair Drip was a song, way before it's way more common that rappers are using wrestlers. So he came out to that, and it's a pretty thing. That pop, when he walked out, all these Puerto Ricans in the crowd in San Juan losing their mind. You couldn't hear anything. You couldn't hear the audio of his song. And then when it finally, like, the screaming went down, you just heard everyone rapping the lyrics to this thing, and he comes out just like soaking it in. That had to be one of like god tier entrance.
It was cool.
All he did was like look around, and then like anyone who's just there because they're a Bad Bunny fan, sure. But then anyone who's like knows this guy's a wrestling fan, he pulls out the Ravens cart of weapons, and it's like, okay, this guy's here to play. Then the match starts. What is he? First movie hits a Michinoku driver.
Yeah.
This guy's a real wrestling fan.
And just, the way you can tell he's watched wrestling for a long time, because he gets it. And just like when he started, you know, like working the knee of Priest, and then it's a street fight. So he's wrapping the chain around it and slamming it against the ring post. And he did it with, you see wrestling. I'm thinking, you know, when Jon Stewart hit see Cena with this steel chair, and you see people these celebrities being careful.
Right.
And he wasn't, like, in a good way. Like, he was being stiff, and that's what you needed.
He's believable, yeah.
It's believable, and you believed he got the advantage over this bigger guy in Damian Priest. And then, but also, I wonder what the whole insurance thing is with him, because, sure, Pat McAfee going through a table, he's a retired athlete, he does podcasts now.
Yeah.
If he's a little banged up, it's not the end of the world. This guy, he was on Coachella, like...
Okay.
Like, he's like doing all these things.
Yeah, you want to
like,
look at the timeline of Bad Bunny's like the last 2 weeks, okay? TMZ, all the tabloids, all things going crazy is Bad Bunny dating Kendall Jenner, one of the Kardashians. Turns out there's lots of paparazzi photos. That would suggest they're a thing right now.
Yeah.
Then he headlines Coachella, the first ever like Puerto Rican Latino artist to do like headline Coachella. Kills it. People love him. Then he's at the Met Gala on Monday night while probably promoting, like, gonna show up for this weekend at this event, which he showed up on SmackDown. And, like, you think, like, after the Met Gala, he got out of his ridiculous Met Gala outfit. He's with Kendall Jenner. They're ordering Uber Eats, and they're in their fancy Shangri-La hotel or wherever. And he's like, hold on, babe, I just got to show you this match. I got to train for Saturday night. And, like, makes her watch Raw.
Yeah.
So he could be the link to getting the Kardashians back into wrestling, which is pretty great. I saw a really funny tweet today, which someone was like, TK was probably watching Backlash, like, what do I do to combat that? And someone has a picture of when Jeff Jarrett invited Taylor Swift to his house one time.
Right.
So it's like, get him to call Taylor Swift right now. Who else would be bigger? Like, again, wrestling fans who, when Bad Bunny was introduced, there's a lot of them who are like, I don't know who this guy is, so it doesn't mean anything to me. But then he like proved himself as like, okay, no way, he knows his things, he knows how to wrestle. But after watching the show, there's no debate of how big this guy is.
I mean, he took a broken arrow off
a set piece through a table.
Yeah.
Like, this was crazy. I saw so many people posting, like music websites posting this clip of this. Like, yo, is Bad Bunny allowed to do this? What's going on? He's getting thrown through tables. Fantastic. And I hope he's okay through all the crazy. I think the craziest bit was like on him was when he did a sliced bread and landed on his damn head.
I thought he knocked himself out for a second.
He got up and fired up.
Yeah.
I was so impressed by him.
Yeah.
Is this okay? Look, there's been a lot of celebrity involvements in wrestling. You can go back to, like, when I'm thinking of matches, who's had matches? Seth Green has had a match. Dennis Rodman. I don't know. There's been a lot of celebrity. Lawrence Taylor. There's been a lot of celebrity things, but I think right here and now, this Backlash match, Bad Bunny having the best celebrity wrestling match just ever.
Bad Bunny and Logan Paul, is that going to be a match at some point? Just against each other?
Yeah, true. Yeah,
or at least a tag, maybe?
Look, Logan Paul showed up and then got a match against Roman, so like Bad Bunny needs to get that Saudi.
It's fine. So I put Backlash on at work yesterday, sound off, but like I'm always trying to, there's Jays going on, there's like college football, there's this, that. I'm always trying to like get the TVs all right, but I'm like, I'll put Backlash on. It's something like always something's going on, and you always tell the people like sat at the bar kind of laughing at it, and then they're like, wait, is that Bad Bunny? And they were just like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, he's a wrestler. And they're like, what? There was one guy earlier in the day who I'd had everything set up, and he's like, can you put on the Kentucky Derby?
Kentucky Derby?
Yeah. And I went, what is that? Horses? And he like laughed, like scoffed at me, like, yeah, it's horses. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit about that. Like, Bad Bunny's about to wrestle.
Yeah, screw horses. It's all about the bunnies.
Horses. It's all about the bunnies.
Yeah, honestly, this match was awesome. I mean, so the match aside, like, it had crazy bumps that he was taking, that he was delivering. Like, the wrestling was connected.
It had a good match first before we got to, Judgment Day coming out, and then Carlito, which, what a pop.
Was that Carlito? I thought it was Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out in like 1999 or something.
He looked great. I mean, we saw him at the Rumble a couple of years ago and looked fantastic then. I kind of hope this is more than a one-off. I'd love to see Carlito back.
Yeah, this was crazy. I mean, earlier in the night you saw Savio Vega gave Bunny the Puerto Rican kendo stick that he used in the match. So you got he's coming out. Then you got Carlito, and like for me, I'm not Puerto Rican, but I'm loving this crowd all night. They're loving everything. That's a pretty big deal. Like, he's the son of Carlos Colon, right? Like he was. that's crazy. And all these years later, there hasn't been a show here. Like, that's a big deal. But for someone like which I think that's beautiful and so amazing. For someone like me, you know, I love my 2005, 2006 era of wrestling. I knew his music right away. I was like, what? And we were watching this on our friend Tom's porch. He's barbecuing over there. We got a screen going on his patio thing, and we're watching. People are walking by. It's a nice day out. I started screaming for Carlito. I'm like, why am I popping? So it's because the crowd, it was infectious.
And like,
whoa.
Isn't that such a great moment for him? Like, he was in the company for a fair amount of time.
Yeah.
Had some good moments, but like years after his like main career is over, he's getting this reaction in a like, that's fucking cool.
He almost did the Jeff Hardy where
he did.
He looks around. You gotta soak it in, brother.
He's been back like 3 times since like leaving. He did that Hall of Fame speech, which he was fantastic in.
Yeah.
The Rumble and this. Every time he's like really proved himself. I think that even just in that speech, he was pretty. I remember him making jokes about the NWO just running long. So it's like, better wrap this up. I'd like to see him back, especially with this LWO thing.
Yeah.
Savio Vega as well, getting a huge pop as well.
Huge reaction, of course. Then like having the Dominic getting nuclear heat, Finn coming out, then Rey Mysterio, obviously the LWO guys, like they're all getting the
Rey's mask as well is pretty cool.
Yeah, it was just so awesome.
I kind of wish they would, with the Street Fight rules, if they found a way where Savio could have given Bunny like the Caribbean strap to like strap himself to Priest at some point.
Right, yeah.
Would have been cool.
Rematch.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved this. This was so good, and such a, you could have totally ended the show with this, you know, Bad Bunny being hoisted up, the LWO there with Puerto Rican flag is such a great
regardless
image,
it was just amazing.
And this crowd were just crazy for the whole time.
They were
loved
so
it.
hot for it. Like this was one of the loudest pops ever. This was CM Punk returning back in Chicago loud.
Yeah.
This was like Austin coming back. This was Hardy's coming back. It was so loud. It was 17,000 people in this Coliseum, but like, wow.
I gotta say as well, one of the best looking crowds as well in wrestling I've
absolutely
seen. Yeah,
we need to go to the next one.
Yeah.
San Juan
didn't look quite as BO heavy as wrestling crowds quite often are. Yeah,
fair enough. Yeah,
next Puerto Rico show. Yeah, definitely gonna look at those flights,
especially if Bad Bunny's on it.
Yeah.
We
then went to the 6-man tag, the Bloodline, Usos, and Solo Sikoa taking on Riddle, Sami, and Kevin.
Yeah, our cool down match of the show, which is the 6-man Bloodline storyline continuing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the match was pretty good. I definitely think they've lost steam since WrestleMania, like all of these characters. Yeah. I am somewhat intrigued in the Jey Uso Solo Sikoa stuff going on, and I think I was actually surprised that the Bloodline won this, because I thought they'd lose and it'd be like leading up to the Usos being kicked out. I do think in hindsight it was the wrong move having Roman retain. Absolutely.
Yeah.
At WrestleMania. At the time I was like, let's see how it plays out. But this whole thing does feel like it's lost a bit of gas.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're really stretching on. Again, Solo Sikoa is really good. That's not like, I think he's awesome. He stepped up real quick and like proving himself real quick. And the like kind of throwback to Umaga, his uncle, right? Just, I love it so much. But I think they're stretching out the like storylines a bit too much now. They're really trying to squeeze the juice of this. Well, the Solo's mad, and then what? Solo grabs him by the throat and he's gonna spike him. It's like, but then they don't do it. It's like they doing a lot of that now. Where I have kind of moved on. I think you're right. In hindsight, Cody winning could have just cleared that. Rome was not even on the show, not even mentioned barely. It's like we could have just done with that. You could have had Cody beat Brock for the title, whatever. But I know they want to stretch out the Roman reign for like,
because you could have still had like
years.
You know, you could have still done this Bloodline story without the titles, where, you know, Roman is mad at his soldiers, the Usos, for having him lose the match at thing or whatever. I just think, yeah, they are. I've liked the slow burn of this story, but it does feel like it's not burning anymore. And I think it's something we often see in wrestling. Once the babyface wins the title, where do you go from there? And I do think Sami and Kevin are kind of treading water. It looks like they're maybe heating up Street Profits for them, but that's baby faces against baby faces. It's Sami and Kevin, are going to deliver. They're always going to put on a good match, and Riddle as well being in the mix makes a lot of sense. But I just think now they've won the titles, the story's kind of done.
Yeah, you finish your favorite Batman comic where he's fighting the Joker, and then what's the next one?
Yeah,
the Joker again. It's like you need other things for them to do, and they don't have a tag team division really. We were on that cloud nine in the past few months because the Usos, who've been the champs for a long time, are finally going to lose them to a new team of Sami and Kevin, which is amazing. But yeah, where do Sami and Kevin
that match
go?
Is still one of my matches of the year.
Yeah,
it was loved
awesome.
it.
But they already did the Street Profits match, the Raw after Mania. It was okay.
Yeah.
So it's not really a SummerSlam. What's the SummerSlam tag team match? The Usos again in a ladder war TLC, You
could do. I think that would be good, and you could have it that where the Usos get it back, maybe. But it is. I am kind of story wise, a bit burnt out on this one now.
Yeah, me too.
But we'll see where it goes.
For sure, the match was still good.
The match was good. Yeah, I did enjoy it, and as you said, Solo's just looking great, and I do enjoy this part of it with Solo being, the guy who isn't fucking up.
Yeah,
he's the one that won it for the team.
Samoan Spike's just one of my favorite moves too.
It's great.
Yeah,
good cocktail as well.
Good cocktail as well. Yes.
And then we go to the main event: Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar versus the Exposed Turnbuckle.
Yeah, really. Headbutts. Oh, great. The hard way it looked like.
Yeah, Brock was determined to bleed in this. He was like, I want you to smack me in the head with those steel steps as much as possible. Fuck, I'm still not busted open. All right, better just headbutt this turnbuckle explode. I don't know, call me crazy. Maybe blading ain't so bad if you're going to get color.
I'm trying to, the gash was so big on his head that it had to be from doing that. But I'm like, there's no way he bladed. Right?
He didn't blade. No, I rewound it back, and it was as soon as he headbutted that thing, you saw the blood just spurt. And you know what? Made this a way better match for me. Blood does, and especially in the main event, when you haven't, and in a WWE where you don't really see blood.
For sure.
Apart from JC Jane last week.
Yeah.
It just it raised the stakes for me, and it did get me into this, and it was still, kind of like a Brock Lesnar match, not particularly long. Cody throwing a lot at him right out the gate, which I thought was awesome, and then Brock taking him to Suplex City and a bit of a surprise kind of roll up for the win. But I got into it, and I thought the blood though.
Yeah, it was. You described it right. Cody coming in, it was like Godzilla versus King Kong, where one of them's going, and then the other gets their big spot in. It's like suplex. The crowd was really into Cody, but I think more into Brock Lesnar, it sounded like. And then, the blood was crazy because there was so much of it. And, when Cody puts him under his armpit for the crossroads, it's getting all over Cody. Yeah. So he's covered in this man's blood. At one point, the ref's trying to give him a towel, and they're like, fuck off. And then finally gives it to him after the match. But he was crimson mask, completely bloody. And then the finish is he goes for the Kimura, but then Cody stacks him and the ref counts it, so it's 3. And then Cody Rhodes just runs away. What? If you're gonna do that finish, why did you just have him run away like that?
It almost, and I know it can't have been a time thing because it's network, unless it was a building time.
It was late. It was 11:30. It went till.
It almost felt like he was giving Brock the ring. Brock was saying, apparently going around Raw saying his goodbyes leading up to Mania. It almost felt like they were giving him the ring for that kind of standing O at the end, but we just cut right to the graphic and then the video. And I'm so glad they brought back these videos of showing the whole event again. I used to love when they did that, and it just reminds you, wow, this was a really fun event. But yeah, it was the finish. Doing it that way leads me to think maybe a rematch as well, because it wasn't definitive. It was caught him with a roll up. So I don't know if you do this again in Saudi, or I imagine Cody's done with him and he's gonna try and finish the story. Whatever.
No, Brock looked angry, so you would imagine Brock cost Cody this tournament in for the title.
Yeah,
which sets up a rematch, non-title, so Cody's not attached to that title still.
So you got we're having a few triple threat matches on Raw and SmackDown, and we're doing like a little tournament, and then winners will face at Night of Champions. You know what I want?
Yeah.
Brock Roman final for the title.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Do it.
Yeah, for SummerSlam?
No, I mean for the final of the tournament.
This tournament.
Yeah, have Brock versus Roman in Saudi.
Yeah.
And Roman wins.
Yeah.
Triple Crown champ.
And then he can switch whatever brands he wants, right? Because any champion can do that, right?
Yeah, we'll go to NXT. He'll win that as well. Beat Carmelo Hayes. Just eat Carmelo Hayes up. And yeah, best for business.
Yeah, Cody Brock was good. I wouldn't say it was bad because I was still pretty into it, but I do think that if this was the first one, I do think they should go to it again and get even like more bloody.
And maybe he just can't anymore, but I do think Brock's good. Like I think his selling's great, and like I mean he's a beast. When you go to these events and you see him in person, it is like, oh wow, this is a big motherfucker.
Man. Yeah.
I would just love to see him work, like try and do the 20-minute match, you know, because he could do that against Cody, and because I think they went 9, something like that.
Right. It wasn't long.
And really, like I think in his second career with WWE, the Punk SummerSlam match is probably his best one.
Yeah,
I'd
or
say.
that Cena one. That's kind of similar to
The
this
Extreme
one.
Rules one. Yeah, sure. I just think, and Cody's a guy he could do that with. Sure, when you're against a Goldberg, it's going to just be spam moves and get it done in 5 minutes. Right. But I think he could put on something better with Cody.
Yeah, you think Jon Moxley watched this match and was like, you son of a
fuck,
bitch.
yeah.
Now you want to bleed?
Yeah.
Now you want to bleed? You bastard.
But overall, I thought this was a really fun show and continues a really hot run of pay-per-views for WWE.
Yeah, I mean, if WrestleMania was your already show of the year runner, this one could take its place. I just had so much fun watching it back, and the wrestling connected, the silliness and other stuff connected. The street fight in Puerto Rico with Bad Bunny was just a perfect storm of awesome wrestling, and like sprinkled in with Carlito, the Apple spot, like it just had everything going. And then like again, lots of actual good matches. Bianca and Io just killing it for me. They went 18 minutes. I'm seeing here, which that was classic, honestly. I couldn't tell you because I really love Bad Bunny.
Yeah, it was fun.
So both of those matches just really made the show awesome, but everything in between was also really fun to watch. So I would give this like 2 thumbs up. Really, the crowd made it. Really, like shows how much a crowd can make a show when they're just so hungry for this like show. They're so hungry to have something come back to their town and country, and WWE should take notes of what worked for them and do this in other places. Don't keep going to fucking Corpus Christi and fucking where else do they go all the time? It's like go somewhere else and you'll see people are out there, and this proved that they ate it up. Well,
another market hungry for wrestling is Europe, because All In tickets for AEW at Wembley went on sale this week. Pre-sale started on Tuesday, general sale on Friday, and we've snapped up our tickets.
Yeah,
we've got some pretty sweet tickets for the show.
Are you all in?
And yeah, this like I think WWE would have seen this and been like, fuck, why have they not done this? Why have they not done WrestleMania at Wembley at this point? Because they've sold, it's being kind of like no official number out there, but it's looking between like 65 and 70,000 sold already. This thing went on general sale 2 days ago with no matches announced.
Yeah.
You know, I think they could completely sell out this thing.
They will. I have no doubt. Like at this point, like what's the gate on this thing already? Like it's surpassed 7 mil. It's like 7.7 or something.
Yeah.
And Clash at the Castle did 8.1. Like,
so it's already surpassed attendance for Clash at the Castle, which like the actual number I think was around 56,000. WWE often report more. WWE's top like attendance is 101,763, but that was for WrestleMania 32. But that's the, you know, how many heartbeats are in the building kind of thing. The actual amount of fans who went through the turnstiles at 32 were 80,709. So this show could actually surpass WWE's highest show. It ain't surpassing
Collision
in Korea.
Never will.
But like, and that is like a huge W for AEW, and I think it's going to mean great things for just the world with pro wrestling, because I think we've seen from this show, from Montreal, got Money in the Bank in London coming up, we've got AEW at Wembley. I think you're just going to see so many more of these shows all over the world. Probably another Australia show happening at some point. You know, going to these markets. I'm like this. It's going to be awesome. Like I've been watching like few clips of different events at Wembley where it's sold out. Like Tyson Fury's entrance for the boxing, where I think that was 96,000.
There's a lot of people.
Something like that.
Yeah, they're not beating that.
And like it's going to look incredible. And when you've got, you know, this whole stadium singing Judas, Jericho has to book Fozzy for this so he can say his band has played Wembley. Like, he's an idiot if he doesn't do that.
Sing the song and then walk out and let them play the instrumental.
Exactly.
For the rest of it. Like, sing the first verse, chorus, and then just walk out.
But I'm so excited for this show.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it's not one big giant house show, considering All Out is happening next weekend. Like,
yeah, what? I know, but it's like, okay, the next week's the pay-per-view, but you've got to make this like the biggest thing ever. And I think you're going to have so many people just go to this who don't really know what AEW is. Like, a family ticket's only £100 to take your whole family for a day out for £100 in London.
Right.
That's not like, that's pretty cheap, really. Yeah. And I think you're going to get the people who, you know, see Jericho on the poster and see Sting and go, oh, I know those guys. Don't know who this Kenny Omega is, but I know these guys. I think you're going to get a lot of that there. And I think the more tickets it sells and like the more it's promoted like, leading up to it in the UK, you're going to get more and more people that just choose to have the day out for the wrestling. And it's going to be insane. It's
so close to other countries, right? That people can fly in. If you are like a hardcore fan, then it's like, all right, I'll pay like a $50 flight and stay there and go to the show in and out even. But pretty crazy. And I'm so happy for TK, that crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He did it. Like, already it's a success. Like, that's crazy. You made $7+ million on one event.
Yeah.
That, you know, looking like you may have got a little deal on them possibly with, you know, your family and the soccer and all that stuff. Sorry, football. So, like, good for you. That's crazy. So I can't wait. I can't wait to go to it. It's going to be, we were at All In the first one, and that was a smidgen of what this is going to be. This is just going to be absolutely nuts. So, yeah, let us know if you're attending, because we will be doing, announcing stuff further.
It sucked trying to get tickets for this.
Yeah, because we're over here in Toronto. You were saying you were trying to wake up. And
so I got up, like, just before 4 a.m. for the first pre-sale, and because it, like, Wembley does have a roof, but it doesn't completely close. So it will need to have a canopy above the ring.
Okay.
And therefore, you don't want to be sat behind one of those pillars.
Yeah.
Like, I've done it before. It sucks.
The pillars.
So I'm looking, and on, like, day one, I'm up from, like, 3:45 in the morning till I'm going to work at 10 in the morning. Looking for tickets. At work, keep on, like, refreshing and stuff. And all I was getting was corners and... corners or the heavens.
Right.
And so like I gave up day one. I was like, all right, it seems to be as soon as you could see it being sold in sections, because you couldn't, when it was on general release, they had where you could click on the seats, whereas this was just, this is what we're offering you. And then it would go from like section 511 to 512 to 513. And it seemed like, okay, they're selling out a section, they're moving on to the next.
Okay.
So I waited for day two and then found 6 tickets together, like at the end zone. So not gonna have a pillar. Looks pretty good view.
So
get to see the stage.
Won't block our view.
They shouldn't block our view.
I mean, if the pillars sat in front of me, they probably wouldn't block my view anyways.
It's very true. Yeah,
I'm taller than all of them.
Yeah. But no, I can't wait. I think this is the show I'm most excited for this year.
Hell yeah.
Once they announce some big matches, this thing could. You'll hopefully have other people go like, oh man, that match is announced. I got to go to London.
Right. Omega versus who? Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, 5. Book it, TK.
Okada, Omega, okay.
I saw Meltzer put out a tweet last week, said, "Who do you people want? Please help vote. Who should Kenny fight at All In?" And got my attention, Kenny being my GOAT. And he didn't put Punk in the list of things you could pick. So everybody went, "Come on, what about Punk?" He's like, "Well, right now that match is physically impossible. That's why I didn't put it." Right, of course. So you think Punk? You've been saying Punk.
I mean, I think if they are on board with Punk, I think it's probably the 6-man at Wembley and the singles in Chicago the next week, because I think that's a good setup. It still feels like a huge match.
Punk in the Bucks, the Elite versus FTR Punk.
Exactly. That's still a huge match, and also works in favor of setting up the match the following week.
Yes.
If you don't have Punk, I'd go...
You have Punk. I think you have Punk.
No, I think Punk's on the show.
Okay.
But it's whether they're going to work together.
Sure.
I think Ospreay, Kenny.
Okay.
But I don't think it will main event. I don't think it's fair to the people in that roster to have an outsider be in the main event of the biggest AEW show. So I think that would be like...
Yeah, they just need to work harder, though.
Yeah. I think you'll have that, and then the actual main event will be MJF Sting and Sting's retirement.
Yeah, I think Sting retires, and MJF says, "Look, I retired you, Sting." Sting says, "Nah, I'm going to retire next week after I fight Darby."
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening. Double retirement. He's going to do the Muda.
The Muda?
Yeah. Surfer Sting in Wembley.
Yeah.
And then Emo Crow Sting again. I don't know how he's going to get the hair back that fast, but he'll figure it out.
I just die. Yeah. But no, I think you're going to... I just don't want it be like, hey, we've got to give Kip Sabian a match.
Yeah, none of that.
No.
Yeah, put the box on, sit in the
Saraya, Jamie Hayter.
Saraya, Jamie Hayter seems like the big one.
Oh, that Jamie Hayter's theme at a stadium.
I'm gonna have a
gonna go nuts. Oh,
we're gonna floss the Jamie Hayter and lose our mind.
We've
see the Jamie Hayter mega mix. That was all us. Never
Yeah.
forget, Jamie Hayter's a fan of us marking out to her music. Never forget.
our friend who does the theme to upNXT is joining us. He's a big like old school wrestling fan. Has never seen AEW, but he's like, I'm like, you got to come to this. Like, it's so I've been showing him like what matches would, because the first thing I sent was, here's a bite-sized thing of what AEW is, and I sent Kenny versus Vikingo.
Right.
I think that's an easy match with no context.
Just
that
showed
you
it
can
to
watch.
my brother yesterday. Yeah.
So what other matches should I sprinkle in?
Well, it's funny. I've mentioned this on the show before. My brothers used to be, they're younger than me, but they used to be big fans. And they keep asking me like, hey, well, if I miss AEW, I want to watch it. And it's like, watchwrestling.com or whatever. But like, it's not on, they should put full matches on YouTube.
Yeah.
So they found a site. If you just search AEW full matches in Google, there's a website where some guy compiled every match individually. Like any match from AEW you can find. So I showed him Vikingo Kenny, and he lost his mind. He's instantly a fan of Vikingo. Showed him, he used to be a fan of Jeff Hardy, so I showed him Not Firm Deletion. We'll talk about that later, though. I showed him Jeff versus Darby. He's like, what the hell?
Yep.
And then he's like, that was pretty violent, but I want something a bit more violent. So I showed him Moxley and Hangman with the fork.
Yeah.
So he loved that. Showed him a few other matches. He was super into it. He loves MJF as well. But yeah, send him that website.
Do you do a stadium stampede?
That'd be too crazy. What do you like, football team almost? You're gonna have them in the jerseys?
Like, I don't
BCC
like
jerseys?
just brawling all around Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
It'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. How would you fantasy book Wembley out there at Poisonrana Pod, Twitter, Instagram, to let us know what matches you think they should book there? Because I'm seeing lots of people's dream match scenarios. I'm loving it. I'm loving to see what it's going to be. The same. We're going to the two biggest shows this summer, Forbidden Door and Wembley. Like, those are going to have, if we're not, we have to get Ospreay Omega once.
One of them.
Out of these two shows,
Yeah.
TK. Don't let me down.
And as excited as we are for this show, I haven't been too excited about AEW recently.
No.
Like, I really haven't enjoyed the build to this pay-per-view coming up. And it feels maybe we're treading water until these big shows we've got coming up over the summer.
It's safe to say this is going to be a lower pay-per-view number for them.
Yeah.
I think
so.
Because like, I think you're going to be main eventing with this BCC Elite Anarchy match, possibly with forks and violence and blood, but like everything else, not really too hot on. I still love AEW, still watch every week, and we'll be watching this week. Like we were saying, we're tempted to go to Detroit this week, but we're saving our trip for SummerSlam. But like, it's it's not cooking as much as they usually do.
There's no hot singles match at all on this show because you've got your women are in faction warfare, you got your 10 top men are in faction warfare, and you got a 4-way for the title. The only singles match I believe that's been announced is what, Jay White, Ricky Starks.
That's on the pay-per-view?
I believe so. Or
Right.
so it's not, I'm sure it's gonna, like, we'll watch the show and be like, oh, that was awesome, because we always say that, but I have definitely been low on AEW. Got a few things from this week, few highlights I thought we could talk about. Bryan Danielson's promo saying that he's better than Bret Hart. I agree, Brian, I agree.
Yeah, this is pretty funny. So, like, you have other people in this company who are the big Bret Hart fans. They wear the Hitman jerseys out on they do all the Bret Hart tribute matches, as people say. And then you have these guys who come out here and be like, I'm better than Bret Hart, like, screw Bret Hart. And is it because Bret Hart's been talking a lot of shit about AEW lately? Because he has.
Yeah, I think there's that. And I also think we do have a impending return of CM Punk, who is a Bret Hart guy. And Danielson also, saying, I'm the best in the world, that kind of thing. So getting that Punk-Danielson match that we got in WWE, but we never got it how we really wanted it, I felt, in WWE.
I agree.
But also, CMFTR versus...
is that their name that they go by?
Yeah, I think so. Versus the BCC would be pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, Claudio, Mox, and Danielson versus... Sorry, Yuta, but yeah.
Who would they get if...
Bret Hart.
Yeah.
He's too bad he's in that Legends deal, right? They can't get him. They've been talking shit about him. I know they have the Owen tournament, so it'd be cheeky to do stuff, more trash talk on the Hearts. But
I think this also maybe indicates Danielson to win the Owen.
I'm assuming he's in it because of the way he was talking about that. But I loved his promo where he's like, I'm better than him. Of course I'm better than him. And there should be wrestlers better than me in the future, hopefully, if I do my job properly. So I loved it.
Well, he's a Sean guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is the Sean guy. True. I love my Brett, but Brett, like, don't just shit on wrestling these days. I understand your gripes, but I thought Danielson handled it well.
So the winner of the first Owen Cup was a Sean guy. Yeah. Winner of the second Owen Cup, Sean guy.
Fuck you, Brett. You should have signed with us.
But is that something you could do as a final? I don't think Punk should be near the title anytime soon.
Never again.
Because, like, at least, like, maybe challenge for it, but
he'll be
don't win it because he'll get injured again.
Yeah, he'll be challenging MJF.
Brian versus Punk for the Owen could be cool
in the
Calgary.
Yeah, that'd be nutty.
That could be huge.
Yeah, true.
Well, that was one of the highlights for me this week.
Just
was
a small
promo.
Yeah.
But the main event of this week was Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt going to the
chicken farm,
the ranch of the Briscoes. This was look at that picture. Look at that
picture of Jeff Jarrett.
Satnam just playing with the baby. Jeff Jarrett, eyes closed, the hair flowing. Yeah. Wow, this was genuinely so funny.
Yeah, a 2-minute vignette here that stole the show, I think. And if for anyone who didn't like this one, maybe wrestling just isn't for you. Where the hell did they get suspenders that fit this big, tall Satnam Singh? This guy is huge. How did they find those things?
Yeah, they got to be customs, I guess.
Big and large store?
Hillbilly gyms, probably. Like
some big fuckers. This was great. From the like clips of them like doing yard work, Jeff Jarrett riding the tractor thing.
The slow motion walk with all of them like their sleeves out. Like
it felt like I was watching Oh Brother, Where Art Thou or something. I don't know what I was watching here, but this was so funny. And then like, of course, they've got the baby, so he's about to sing with my baby.
Yeah.
So it's just so good.
Which they cut off because it's probably trademarked.
Yeah,
you know.
So it's just so good. The pencil in the ear of the baby.
Yeah, Papa Briscoe.
Yeah.
And like finally, it actually kind of made sense why this story's going on, because they've got a title match against FTR and Mark Briscoe beat FTR.
Yeah.
So they just want him for for tips.
So there's your Double or Nothing tag match, which is Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus FTR.
Which you tell me that a couple of months ago, I'd have been like, why? Why is Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett taking up a pay-per-view spot? Now I'm like, absolutely.
It'll be
they
good too.
100% should be.
So they're doing all these chores on the chicken farm because they want to get Briscoe to talk secrets, to talk shop while they go fishing at the end of this. This was so funny, so ridiculous. Yeah, the meme of Jeff Jarrett singing is now my new favorite. Jeff Jarrett is the in the best way possible, the cockroach of wrestling that just won't go away. But in the meaning he'll just stay relevant always. And
he's just now at that point where it's like a Family Guy joke.
Yeah.
You know, when the joke starts and it's funny, and then they play it on so it doesn't get funny, and you're like, all right, I'm over the joke now. And then they push it that bit further where you're like, all right, it's kind of funny again now.
Yeah, I mean,
that's Jeff Jarrett's entire wrestling career.
Yeah, you see that all-in poster modified.
Oh, it's so good.
All Jeff Jarrett, but different variations of him, like through the years. It's like, oh my god.
Like, they got to put some title on this guy at some point.
Yeah, he should be I know Orange is killing it. He should. If it wasn't FTR, like, he should be tag champ with Jay. Would get some heat on them, but winning the IC title here would be like his.
I do think, because they did the fake switch, didn't they? And then it went to, it actually went to the Guns.
Right.
I think that would have been way better.
Yeah, these guys
if
really
have it as the heel. They had way more heat, and then you have FTR beating them. For the title.
Yeah,
I think it would have been maybe better.
The Guns were a complete miss.
We had another kind of cinematic production this week on AEW. Actually, got me interested in Rampage for once. I thought this was actually maybe a good idea to do something a little different on Rampage rather than just more matches.
Jay White didn't bring you into Rampage?
No,
was he on this week?
Probably.
Do they call him Switchblade, or do they just call him Rampage Jay White?
I don't know, man. I did like his look though on Wednesday. I liked his clothes.
He's a fashionable guy,
smart looking guy.
Yeah.
Well, the beard isn't, but like,
I mean, like, smart, and he didn't come in at the right time at AEW.
No, smart dressed in.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But we had the firm deletion, which was a big.
All right, in a nutshell, Davey, just quickly explain how we got here.
So, Matt Hardy lost a match against Ethan Page, which we were at. We were at that match. We were there at the beginning of this story.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
It was Ethan Page, Matt Hardy,
You're lying.
Toronto. No, or was it Ethan Page, Isaiah Cassidy, I think, which Ethan Page won and therefore got Matt Hardy's contract. So the contract was owned by the firm.
Wow.
And then
that was part of history.
And then Hardy was playing like friendly with Ethan Page, but then like added like an amendment or whatever in the contract, which said if Hook wins his match, he's free from the firm.
Oh yeah, he was contract tampering.
Yeah,
right.
So that happened. Hook won, and now Hook's friends with Matt, and then Jeff came back, and he's clean now apparently. And
whoever edited this thing together, isn't it?
Yeah, and then they have a compound match.
The firm deletion.
This was awful.
Yeah, I think it's past its expiration date.
But there was nothing like clever. I mean, the other ones have been stupid, but like there've been clever, stupid things just how outside the box they've thought.
Yeah.
This was just a brawl with.
Yeah,
like,
we watched the extended cut earlier because they cut it for time.
For punishment.
Yeah, we watched the extended 20-minute one or whatever. But yeah, it's a lot of them fighting, like, you know, in the trees. There's the firework bit. There's the bit off where like Stokely goes to Matt Hardy's theater and then like the kids show up and they beat the shit out of him and then he's doing like Chappelle show jokes and stuff. I thought the bits that got me were that part when he's like, Tony Khan's gonna pay for his sins or his crimes because the kids are like beating him up. Matt Hardy's like 9 million kids. Who has more kids? Like Matt Hardy or the dude from Public Enemy? What's his name? Or Bob Marley? Like, how many kids does Matt Hardy have?
Like 9? I don't know. It's a lot.
They're beating the shit out of Stokely, which is funny. When Isaiah Cassidy just moaned on the thing, that made me laugh. But like, it's silly and stupid.
It was just brawling though. There wasn't any like really funny moments, I didn't think, and it was weird that they had occasional commentary.
It would just disappear.
Which felt like, you know, when you're playing the video games and there's no commentary for a while, and then it just comes out, oh, Matt Hardy with a twist of fate there.
He is rolling.
He is rolling, yeah. It felt like that.
It's not like I was rolling watching this. match.
I really didn't think this was very good. I don't like Stokely Hathaway. I don't find it. I think he's on way too much. I think he thinks he's funnier than he is what I get from his performance style, which I liked him in NXT. I thought he was a good manager in NXT, and I think I have not enjoyed him in AEW with baddies or with these guys.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
It just seems low rent, I find.
I kind of know what you're saying. I was a huge fan of him, some of the indie stuff I saw, and then in NXT he was pretty funny kind of in the bits he was there. But we always wondered, hey, what if he wasn't in WWE? He'd probably be a lot funnier. And then kind of having the training wheels off somewhere else. It's like
he needs a leash.
It's like he needs. I know what you're saying, because I do think he is funny in certain parts, but this was just not for me. As much as when the first one ever happened, when the first few happened, the compound matches and stuff like that, I was totally into it. I just think that we moved away from it. Like, sorry, it's past, Matt. Like, let it go.
I feel as well, like, if anyone is, flicking through channels, you flick and you catch one of the, like, any of the matches, like, the wrestling's great in AEW. You might be like, oh, that, like, Vikingo Kenny. Imagine if you just stumbled across that. You'd be like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah.
And I think even something as silly as the Briscoes farm would, like, you go, oh, that's stupid. But
that was still 2 minutes.
It's still
20
funny.
Minutes.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't
everyone
wanna...
just, I'm being choked. It's like, you're trying... When people are like, oh, you watch that fake shit?
This is it. Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. I told you my brother was like, hey, anything good going on in AEW? Like, what was on Dynamite or like that other show? Was it Rampage? I'm like, nothing. There was nothing on this show. Don't watch it. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah. So any other AEW chat? I mean, I guess we should talk about the world title.
Yeah, so I do enjoy MJF and Sami as a team. Like, they're very funny. I feel like MJF has like a lot of Family Guy type humor that's like over the top. He's like Stewie almost or something. I don't know what it reminds me of, but I love it. And the mashup was great that they had. But we knew the match was going to be the 4-way. I think the promotion for this match kind of was done a bit wrong, as much as I like the Sami and MJF thing. But I do think the match will be amazing. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But the build to it is not that exciting.
The 4-way was fun. Sorry, the tag was fun.
Yeah, it was okay.
But just, the build's been horrible. It's been very WWE build,
Yeah,
DQ,
we know the match.
Zoic having a multi-man match. And we knew the match from the very first set of promos 5 weeks ago. And it's just been played on. And a lot of the promos have sucked. And there's no way anyone buys MJF losing this title to any of these guys.
Yeah.
I think you could have built up a really hot singles Darby and MJF. And I think maybe it's a bit too early to go to this 4-way match. I get you want to do the Pillars match at some point, and especially if you end up, losing one of these guys to another company or whatever. But no one's buying Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara yet.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel Darby is in that upper mix, I think.
I will say that something that maybe got me a bit more interested in like a hopeful situation. It wouldn't make sense now. It was when MJF sneaks into Jungle Boy's locker room when Darby slips out. And he's like, hey, you should try thinking about yourself. You should try being a little bad.
Yeah.
And Jungle Boy thinks about it for a second. I'm like, it wouldn't make sense. But like... he somehow doesn't get pinned he spirals off to feud with Darby because he does listen to MJF is what I'm saying. He does realize, you know what, this isn't working for me. Then when I know it's way too soon, but when Christian is tangling with Wardlow saying, no, it's not him not Luchasaurus that wants the match. I want the match. I think when it comes time, it's not me who wants the match. It's my new friend. He buried me, but we're friends again, and now we're bad guys.
I think it would actually make some logical sense for Jungle Boy, who MJF and Jungle Boy had a couple of matches very early on in AEW, which they were great matches, and they are like each other's equal, and MJF would cheat and win. And now you're looking at it, and MJF is the world champion, and Jungle Boy hasn't held any singles titles. He's still a Jungle Boy, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that would be something that logically makes sense. Then we go to, can we actually see Jack Perry pulling off playing a bad guy?
Yeah, I haven't liked his promos.
No.
So I love Jungle Boy, but the promos not been solid, and not just from this match. But it isn't just that exciting. So
this is a match I think that will over deliver, but I'm not interested in the build, and it's not making me want to buy the pay-per-view.
Right.
You mentioned we're getting Christian and Wardlow. Is that for the pay-per-view?
I guess. I don't know. It's
Okay,
weird.
strap Christian.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, Christian's gotta keep warm for when Edge comes in. I hope. I don't know.
I need like Christian now to be, talking about fucking Arn's wife.
Yeah.
We're getting Christian on promo offs.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Christian's feuding with Wardlow. He's looked at the roster. Okay, what champions' dads aren't alive? Oh, Wardlow.
That is true. Fuck, that is true.
You didn't pick up on that?
No. It was going to be Luchasaurus, and then I realized your dad's dead, so I am facing you.
Luchasaurus' dad's been dead for 600 million years, so I got to go after the guy whose man bun's growing back.
Yeah.
In honor of his dead dad. Oh, shit, I'll just fight him. He's a champion. Cool. So, yeah, Wardlow got the title just to lose it to Christian.
What else did we have? We had Shida return.
Shida, the fake out.
Pretending she was going to join the Outcasts, and yeah. That means, though, we've got Tony, Ruby, and Saraya, and then Britt, Jamie,
and Shida. So that's some sort of six woman tag match. I wonder what the Double or Nothing match would be, but
you should have Jamie defend the title.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you?
Yeah.
So it's whether you have it be like Britt, Shida, and I guess Willow.
Okay.
And then you can have Jamie in a singles against someone.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Did the Outcast need someone else as well?
Because I'd save Saraya for Jamie Wembley.
For Wembley. That makes a whole lot of sense.
That's a long time from now.
Yeah, it's still a few months.
So I don't want to watch this feud go that
But then once this pay-per-view circuit's over, we've got the Forbidden Door build.
Right, yeah.
So that can kind of actually...
And maybe Mercedes.
This year might be a welcome distraction, this.
Sure.
So you could do a Mercedes, or anyone from the...
Maybe. Yeah.
From the Stardom roster.
Yeah.
But yeah, AEW definitely been down on, but I think it's going to start kicking into gear after this pay-per-view, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll add some bigger matches to the show. Hopefully we do get that announcement of like some sort of big anarchy match, which will come. But I'm sure they'll stack the pay-per-view. And I'm sure it'll still be a good show, don't get me wrong. But I will say it does feel like a bit of a lull before the big summer announcements that they have with the whole Canada tour, going over to the UK. Lots of stuff going on. So I have feeling that once the gears are moving in the right direction, it'll get back on track, because the ticket sales for these events are crazy. Sold out shows, stadium shows, all these things. Like, it's gonna get back on track and just be awesome. Not as awesome as someone in the chat right now.
Yeah.
He's just going off saying, Elizabeth HBK says, hey, read my comments in the chat because they're so happy that WWE came back to Puerto Rico. We're happy for you. We're just discussing it. You got to hit that rewind button.
They're still buzzing from last night.
Yeah, what a show.
Thank you for checking us out, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe button.
Thank you.
We talk about wrestling a lot over here at Poison Rana.
We just chatted about that show. It was awesome. So that was what's going on in AEW. This week's the cage match. What else is anything else going on in wrestling? I think that's it. I don't know.
There's a bit of talk with Drew McIntyre's contract, I think.
Again?
Yeah, Fightful reporting that his contract's not over until early 2024, I believe. But they're kind of on very different pages at the moment. He's taking time off at the moment because he's banged up, and he wanted to do the triple threat at Mania and put over Gunther, but now he's sort of resting and recovering. But I think they're on different pages at the moment. I can't talk today. Creativity wise, creatively. That's the word.
Creatively.
Fuck, man. And with money. So, and is potentially exploring other options. But timing wise, unless it's like an early release, it's not gonna line up with the Wembley show at all or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I can't say I'm interested in it. I don't think it needs him for the Wembley show.
No.
But just he is a big name in WWE that is currently kind of taking a bit of a backseat.
Yeah, which is cool. Rest up.
Anything else? Anything else you've seen from this week?
I saw that people were going off about Triple H liking a tweet about Tony Khan or something like that. Some fan was like, "Oh, if AEW's doing so poorly, why did Warner just give them another show? TV ratings are outdated to view popularity of wrestling. It's all about like, you know, selling shows and tickets and merch and stuff." And Triple H liked this tweet. So Triple H, A, he likes the healthy competition, and B, he also thinks maybe TV ratings don't mean as much as they kind of are made out to be. Of course, it means stuff with, you know, advertisers, and that's
sponsors
a big deal.
And things, but yeah,
popularity wise, you look at some of the stuff from Backlash last night already over on social media. The views are insane.
People consume media so differently now than they used to.
I'm born in 1991. You think I pay for cable?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
I grew up. We learned how to torrent when I was a kid. We learned how to use Google. Nowadays, kids watch shit on TikTok. That's how they watch their wrestling.
Yeah.
They went, "Wow, do you see that Bad Bunny match? It was great in a minute-long TikTok highlight." Like that's shit today.
Yeah.
What does that help WWE with ratings, right? So.
And clearly, they're still popular because all these companies are selling stadiums. You know.
Yeah.
Like they weren't doing multiple stadiums a year back in 2000.
Yeah.
Were they?
Look, it's really cool that AEW is doing like kind of a Canada tour of places that don't get the big rub, like what they're doing in Saskatchewan and some crazy places. But I saw Santos Escobar saying like, "Yo, it's cool. WWE just did Puerto Rico. We need a big show in Mexico, like one big pay-per-view in Mexico." And I think now with the way the world's opening up, we need to see more wrestling shows.
So much more of that
everywhere. Everywhere. I want to see it everywhere. Where would you want to see a wrestling show? I know you want New Orleans, but it looks like we're getting a WrestleMania in Nashville in a few years.
Okay.
So
Nashville's great. I mean, outside of the States, I think Mexico makes a lot of sense. I think doing Australia again, but you know, having it now we're doing. It used to be these, you know, Saudi Arabia shows, Australia shows, those kind of things. They're almost like non-canon shows, you know?
Yeah.
And I think we've seen like over the last couple of years, the Saudi shows have moved into being more like actual just pay-per-views. Yeah. We're seeing that with like Backlash in Puerto Rico and all that. So I think Australia's a big market you could do.
Yep.
And you've got some like, you know, Grayson Waller's just been called up to SmackDown. You've got your Bronson Reeds. You've got Rhea Ripley, of course.
Main event show there.
Like I think Australia do a cricket stadium, whatever would be great. Other parts of Europe, I mean, look, you did if AEW sell out Wembley, there's only one stadium in Europe that's bigger than Wembley. That's Barcelona.
Right, okay.
That'd be I'd fucking go to Spain to watch wrestling.
I think there's a lot of wrestling fans in there.
Well, you need that Axiom kid to start moving up
take the mask off
a bit. Yeah. Nah, keep the mask on.
Wow, that would be so you want to go to Spain for wrestling?
Burnabout, yeah.
All right, wow. Yeah, I hope that they do more like shows in different places that like clearly the fans are just like waiting for. Wembley shows that, Puerto Rico shows that, like expand outside of your normal places, the safe kind of places. And again, it's happy that both companies you see are doing that right now. So wrestling's
especially now, you don't need to worry about pay-per-view buys or anything like that with this. You can do a show in London at 1 p.m. like Eastern time, you know? It's fine. It's a Sunday. What are you doing?
We're getting the Forbidden Door here at Scotiabank, the ACC in June, but like you know, a nice the Sky Dome, Rogers Center stadium show would be pretty cool here too. So one day. But yeah, where do you want to see a wrestling show? Let us know, people. BMO? Yeah, outside. That's what we were saying.
BMO is actually way more achievable here.
Yeah, we were joking back before any of this was a big shows announced that we were like, yo, come here, do that arena or do that stadium.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that brings us to an end this week.
I think so, yeah. We'll be back on Tuesday night over on the Post Wrestling feed with upNXT, chatting all about NXT with our NXT Post Show, and we'll chat more about some draft picks and who's going where, and I think there's a few matches announced, but yeah, we'll be live on Tuesday night chatting all about that. And then we'll be back here on this show next Sunday. Check us out live. We'll probably be going live around 2 p.m. or so, or 2 p.m. or so or something like that. But follow our socials as well. I know you have Instagram, so follow us at PoisonRanaPod, also on Twitter. And if you're doing Forbidden Door, make sure you hit up the Forbidden Pour, postwrestling.com/live. Get tickets for it before it's too late and you're scrambling. You're messaging us on the day. Oh, I want tickets.
Can I come in?
Come in.
I'm at Miller's Tavern and the line for the bar is so big. Like, yeah, you should have thought about that.
Should have thought about that. Some guy who's never messaged us, so you should.
Yeah.
Because we're really fun people.
Run it
really
straight.
nice. And we... that should be a drink.
The Run It Straight?
The Run It Straight.
I'm not making a drink for Zion Quinn.
We're cooking some fun up, and I can't wait to see all you fine people out there this summer. Somewhere out there, we will link up, and can't wait. It's a lot of fun. This whole community of podcasts and stuff is fantastic. So that's it. That's all. I myself, Braden Herrington. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at the Bray D.
And you can find me at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And viva la raza.
Ahoy!
Poisonrana.